I just had to crawl through that to get to the other side, and it was so worth it. We continue our Phoenix area tour with the 10th and final airport of the trip after last week's visit to Phoenix Sky Harbor. And we're wrapping up our visit with some of the biggest surprises yet. We get a tour of the only flying privateer, get up close with an incredibly rare World War II German fighter, and visit an aerial fire suppression company owned by a highly accomplished veteran. And of course, we make a stop at the new on-field cafe serving some seriously great food and drinks. Today, we're heading to Casa Grande Municipal Airport in Casa Grande, Arizona.
Traffic selling 904 X-ray, left base, full stop, traffic going this, I got you inside, Casa Grande.
Today we'll be heading out of Chandler right before the afternoon, which is important since it would be a little turbulent. We would head due south at 3,500 feet for a short 18-minute flight, making sure we listen for any jump activity and ILS traffic, which we'll discuss more about soon. Once arriving, we would enter left traffic for runway 5.
Casa Grande traffic record 4461, flying the published back to Stanfield, Casa.
Most pilots flying into Casa Grande probably have no idea that this quiet desert airport started as a key piece of America's World War II pilot training. Back in the 1930s, it was nothing more than a rough airstrip in the desert, just sand, mesquite trees, and a small house marking the field.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 19er, 3-manor hotel, 6 miles to the north, inbound for left traffic, 05, Casa Grande.
Early cross-country pilots would stop here while navigating the southern transcontinental route long before modern navigation existed, but everything changed during World War II.
Stanfield traffic record 4461, requesting top. 45, 5000. Stanfield traffic, Hartford 4461, taking 5,000. For new top 5,500 open.
Forward X-ray, clear the activate Delta taxi to parking. No more skydiving today at Casa Grande.
Casa Grande became Williams Auxiliary Airfield number 3, supporting intense pilot training operations out of Williams Field. Day after day, thousands of cadets filled the skies practicing landings, takeoffs, and maneuvers. Training aircraft like the AT-10, the AT-9 dominated the pattern, and even advanced pilot flying, the P-38 trained in the area. The constant flow of touch-and-go operations shaped much of the runway layout you still see here today. And if you're from the area, you probably know that traffic hasn't changed much. Maybe the type of planes, and maybe it's even more busier today. When the war ended, the military walked away, but the airport didn't. It was handed over to the city of Casa Grande and transformed it into a civilian airfield supporting the region's agriculture, industry, and a growing aviation community.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 19er, 3-manor hotel, entering the 45 for 5, Casa Grande.
Casa Grande Municipal Airport is untowered at an elevation of almost 1,500 feet with one runway, 0523 at 5,200 feet, which is plenty for a small GA aircraft. An important note is that the AWOS is currently out of service, which is shown on the airport NOTAMs and is expected to expire June 17, 2026. But that doesn't mean it won't be either shortened or extended. So you might want to use your nearby airport AWOS like Auction, which is only 8 miles away. But of course, check the NOTAM for its current status.
Stanfield traffic, Church Ice 347, proceed to turn inbound, Stanfield. Casa Grande traffic, Aero 39 hotel, entering left downwind, for 05, Casa Grande.
So the airspace around here really isn't too bad. You don't really have to worry much about the Bravo, but there's one big thing you do need to watch out for, and you'll hear it pretty quickly as you get close: skydiving. This area is packed with jump activity. Coolidge has about a 15-mile radius jump area, Eloy has around a 10-mile radius, and Sawtooth, a private airstrip, adds another 10-mile radius zone. Casa Grande itself is smaller with a roughly 2-mile radius jump area, but it's still something you definitely want to keep thinking about.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 3 Hotel, turning left base, 05, Casa Grande.
Before I go any further, quick disclaimer: this is not official FAA guidance. Always check published procedures and talk with your CFI if you're not comfortable flying into new airspaces. With that said, something interesting we learned after visiting through a local Facebook group is that the actual drop zone activity may not always line up perfectly with what is shown on the VFR chart.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 3 Hotel, turning final for runway 5, Casa Grande.
In fact, the standard 45 entry for runway 5 can put you right through the drop zone. We couldn't find any official FAA procedure specifically addressing arrival during active jump operations here, so we'll link the discussion below. Definitely worth reviewing and talking through with your CFI so you can plan the safest possible arrival into Casa Grande. But at a minimum, I would highly advise that you practice sterile cockpit when flying into this airport so you can maintain visual and radio situational awareness. Now, as far as weather, Casa Grande most of the year is clear, dry, and perfect for VFR, even if you get the occasional turbulence in the afternoon. In the winter, conditions are about as good as it gets, and again, we can attest to that. It was amazing during our time here. Temperatures stay mild, skies are usually clear, and winds are light. But the summer, things change. Temperatures regularly climb above 100 degrees. Density altitude becomes a huge factor, especially for a smaller aircraft, and especially for those that are normally aspirated. Then there's monsoon season. During the summer afternoons, thunderstorms can build quickly, bringing gusty winds, turbulence, and blowing dust that can seriously reduce visibility.
Stanfield traffic, crew drive 347 VOR inbound approach altitudes are open. Stanfield.
Stanfield traffic, Arch 2781, taking approach altitudes 45 is open for PT inbound Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, Arch 4461, taking 4,500, we are top 5,000 is open.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 1939 Hotel, clear of runway 5, Casa Grande.
Alright, mixture lane for taxi.
Lane for taxi.
Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Fuel pump off.
Fuel pump off.
Landing light off.
Landing light off.
Anti-collision off.
Off.
Transponder VFR 1200.
1200.
And trim to neutral.
Trim to neutral.
Next, let's talk about instrument approaches because this airport has one of the most important and heavily used ones in the Phoenix area. But before we get to that, let's run through the other approaches. First is the VOR runway 5 approach, which uses the Stanfield VOR about 8 miles to the southwest with minimums around 500 feet AGL, which is pretty good for a VOR approach. Next, you got the RNAV approaches for both runway 5 and 23 with minimums down to 250 feet AGL and 500 feet AGL respectively. And finally, something you don't see very often at an untowered airport, at least we haven't, there's an ILS for runway 5. If you've trained in the Phoenix area, you definitely know this approach. As pilots, we have to train on both precision and non-precision approaches. Simply put, the ILS is precision, while the others are non-precision, at least in the context of most training. There are others out there like PARs that are precision, but for most of us, the ILS is the only precision approach we'll use. Now think about this, it's untowered, you can shoot approaches anytime you want, and it's a major training area. Yeah, it gets busy. Now back to this ILS. I won't go too deep into it here, but there is something called the Stanfield Stack. And if you want more details, check out aftw.org. But here's why it has that last part of the name, stack. At the Stanfield VOR, aircraft will start holding at 4,500 feet, stacked every 500 feet on top of each other. And a friend of mine, Justin, told us that when he trained here, he saw the stack go all the way up to 10,000 feet. That's just crazy. And I'll let you do the math on that. But if you want to hear how pilots get in and out of the stack, you can hear it on the arrival, but you'll definitely notice it on departure.
Stanfield traffic, Arthur 4461, taking approach altitude. We are top 4,500 open.
As mentioned, there's a lot of student traffic, but as you'll see once we park and take a look around, there's actually a pretty diverse mix of aircraft on the field.
Casa Grande traffic, Oxford 2781, 5 mile final, runway 5, Casa Grande.
There's definitely not a shortage of transient parking, and even better, it's right next to the terminal building, which we'll definitely check out after we park. There is an amazing cafe on the field that just opened a couple of months ago, and of course we'll check it out once we go inside. We are here at Casa Grande, and first of all, the name tripped me up the first time because as we speak Spanish, it's spelled grande.
Yep.
So we were saying it Casa Grande from when we first started.
Yes.
But apparently it's not. It's Casa Grande. So just trying to help you guys out because I always mispronounce stuff. Yeah, we just made it here and it wasn't busy. We did catch a couple of things, which was as you guys have heard, the jumps and the Stanfield Stack. We're not going to do that today. I was not in the mood to do that. That takes a lot of mental power. But anyways, what are we here for today?
We're here specifically because I know that a lot of people were upset. There used to be a restaurant on field and it closed.
Yes.
But last year, there was a new cafe that opened on field and we're here to try it because everywhere I've seen online, it's gotten rave reviews.
Not only online, on the channel. I think somebody reached out and was like, hey, you got to go to Casa Grande and you got to check out the coffee shop.
That's true. And not only do they have coffee, they've got food.
I know, which
If you know us,
we're
hungry. So I can't wait to try it. I saw a couple things on the menu and we're going to see what's available because I know we're here a little later than we expected. And I think they usually close at 1 today.
They do close at 1. Check out their Instagram. We'll put a link to the shops in the description.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do first so we can eat.
Yes.
And then we're just going to check out the airport because we've never been here. Going to go check out the fuel situation, see what that's like. But as you guys can hear, there's one plane just kind of took off, but it's pretty calm. But this airport is known to be busy. You said that they have a big event here.
They do. They have a cactus fly-in, which just happened March. We just missed it. And they already have the date set for next year. So we'll link that also in the description below if you're curious about that.
Right. So let's go get some food and check out Casa Grande. All right, let's go. We stepped inside and immediately this place felt different. We headed straight for the cafe. Everything looked good, so we kept it simple. Breakfast, burrito, and a couple of drinks. And Irene saw the specialty matcha on the menu. That decision was already made.
I like the shape. It was good. Oh, yeah, this is delicious.
And the food and drinks did not disappoint. But honestly, this might be the best part. Front row views of the ramp. And yep, there's Hannah. Plenty of seating, a pilot's lounge. This is nice. Oh man.
Oh, they've got good seating.
Oh, this is nice. It's nice and cool in here. And even a dedicated flight planning room. I like the plane. Super Viking for sale. And if you look closely, you'll find events happening all year long. Cactus Fly-In 2011.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
I'm sorry we missed it.
I know. Hey, next year.
Yeah.
This is really nice. It just feels good in here. It's all open. And it's interesting because I know that some of the pilots that responded onto the channel don't land at the airports like this. They do the Stanfield and they just kind of go and take off, but I really recommend coming in. It's really nice and getting some food. At this point, we thought we were just stopping for a quick breakfast. We had no idea what this airport had waiting for us. We met Terry at the cafe, and within minutes, he offered to show us around the airport, and of course, we said yes. I mean, who better to give you a tour than a local? But we had no idea what we were about to see. Then we turned through a gate, and there it was, a privateer. And somehow I ended up inside it. And this isn't just any aircraft. This is the only flying privateer in the world. And if you guys want to see it, go to Oshkosh. It was just announced it will be there. Built in 1945, it just missed World War II combat, but went on to serve with the Coast Guard for search and rescue, chasing hurricanes and even fighting wildfires.
I worked with the most is the old school crew. What's kind of special about one of them is he flew this exact plane as a fire bomber when he was 21.
Oh no. Alright guys, I just had to crawl through that to get to the other side, and it was so worth it. And this was the nose gunner's view. Not bad. Everywhere you look, little pieces of history still intact. It's hard not to reflect on the men who actually flew in these during World War II, even if not this particular one.
How was it?
That was really cool. I just imagine like what the guys who did this was like, man, how did they do that? Oh. And the engineers did not care how comfortable it was, that's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah, and imagine having a bunch of equipment on you.
I know. Now, I was only in there for a couple of minutes and it was hot, so I can only imagine how cold this would be 10,000, 15,000 feet up.
Hot in there?
It's hot with the crawling. I was like, man.
Yeah. I told Irene, if you're going to keep hanging out at these places, you better bring your coveralls next time.
I know. We never expected. That's the thing.
No, we don't.
We're like, this quiet airport, and then things happen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
This aircraft has been under rolling restoration for over 15 years right here at Casa Grande. And just when we thought it couldn't get any better, it did. Inside GossHawk's hangar was a T-28 Trojan, P-51 Mustang, and a T-6 Texan. But one aircraft completely stopped us. And to be honest, when we first saw it, we had no idea how rare it was. This is a Focke-Wulf Fw 190. Shot down in Norway, lost for decades, and now being brought back to life. When it's finished, it will be the only one of 2 original airworthy Fw 190s in the world. And the level of detail, it's unreal. The cockpit is very tight and not even fully assembled yet. That swirl on the nose, that's original paint. You can still see the brush strokes. A fully restored 14-cylinder BMW radial engine. Original gun camera, even the oxygen system and starter handle brought back to life. They've even preserved the original radios while quietly integrating modern ones so the aircraft can actually fly. And that's when it clicked. This isn't just restoration, it's preservation down to the smallest detail. And the best thing, it's a family-owned business by father and daughter Dave and Lindsay working together to keep aviation history alive. We left GossHawk with our minds blown, but Terry wasn't done surprising us just yet. Remember those planes we spotted out on the ramp? Up close, we realized just how big they actually are. With a wingspan over 59 feet, that's longer than a school bus. These Air Tractor AT-802s belong to Rutledge Airborne, an aerial firefighting operation based right here at Casa Grande. And they are owned by Mike Rutledge. And somehow we got invited inside. This is something you don't come across very often. This is the only simulator of its kind in North America, built to fully replicate the AT-802. Every control, every movement, exactly like the real aircraft.
Both feet on the seat. There you go. And then slide your left foot to the left of the stick.
And when I thought things couldn't get any better, I got to sit inside. Definitely not what I expected when we landed here today.
This is an exact 100% one-for-one replica of the actual airplane. So everything, it's all real controls that are in the airplane. So where you put your hand is exactly where it is in the airplane, just for the whole positive habit transfer thing. And
I mean, it's got great visibility.
yeah, it actually really does have good visibility.
Man.
I mean, I think the windows are a little bit shorter, but other than that, this is your fire control panel, so you can control how you drop the retardant, basically which coverage level, so how many gallons you want per acre to be dispersed, called the rate. This is all of your engine and transmission temperature, pressure limits, and then the stick and the dump is on the trigger. That's how you drop. And then you've got your avionics stack on the right side. And these are just normal, they're digitally represented. Those are all your normal attitude and environmental instruments. So I mean, it's a pretty, for as big an airplane it is, it's pretty simple. It's about Cessna 172 simple.
Wow. It's very roomy.
Yeah, it's a big cockpit. It's really, really big. Very comfortable. It's air conditioned, heated and air conditioned, sealed, so the smoke and stuff, won't get in there. It gets recirculated through a filter. A lot of places we fly, there'll be, lots and lots of smoke and ash in the air and stuff, so it won't infiltrate the cockpit. I'm actually one of the factory instructor pilots for it, so I'm one of the guys.
No way!
Yeah, 5 or 6 guys in the country that can actually give the type ratings in them. So we do that all in-house. That's why I say we hire on personality and not necessarily what's on your resume. So
that's why you kind of knew what this simulator would bring to your business.
Yeah.
It was a big investment.
It is, but it's a cheaper investment than allowing somebody to tear up an airplane or hurt themselves. So if you look at it in that perspective, it's a bargain.
Because this operation, they take training seriously. From precision water drops to upset recovery training in their T-34s. Everything is designed to prepare for high-risk, real-world flying. And as far as what you guys are looking at, you're looking at however they fly it here, that's what you're expecting out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's a lot of trust. They'll do 10 hours in the simulator, and then we'll go out and do 5 hours of dual control in our 2-seat airplane that's just exactly like this.
Right.
And then we kick them out, and they'll do 20 hours solo in a single-seat airplane. So when we put them in the single-seat airplane, there's nobody to save them.
And all of this training exists for one reason, because there is no room for error when you have to make split-second decisions.
We tell our new hires, you guys need to get out of your mind that this is an aviation job. It's not. It's a firefighting job. You just happen to use airplanes. Totally different than airlines or corporate or flight instructing or anything that they may have done before. It's such a vast departure. There's just no other place in aviation, U.S. anywhere, anyway, where you're flying in a formation of 4 airplanes at 100 feet in the mountains and bombing things, single pilot. There's no other place in the world that you do that outside of the military.
All right, so besides this, do you fly anything else?
Fly lots of stuff. Fly helicopters, World War II planes.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, the longer we're in business, the less I get to fly, but yeah.
That's awesome. Getting a personal tour from Mike and seeing this simulator up close was incredible. But what we didn't expect was the story behind how he got here.
My personality, I knew it early on once I retired from the military. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I could work for anybody.
What branch of the military?
I was actually in the Navy for 12 years, and then the rest of my 30, I was in the Army.
Wow.
So I transferred over. No, I had a great time flying the Army. It was the best job I ever had.
That's awesome.
So what were you flying?
I mainly flew MH-47 Chinooks.
Okay. I love the Chinooks. They're awesome.
That was my primary aircraft, but later in life, I went to test pilot school, so I flew everything. I flew everything in the Army except for Apaches.
So tell them what you did in the Navy.
I was a SEAL in the Navy for 12 years.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not telling you the whole story. When you went to Army flight school, after you graduated from flight school, then you flew with who?
I went to the 160th Special Operations Aviation.
No way. Night Stalkers.
I did for 16 years.
Oh
my God. And there was no better way to sum up the day.
Wow.
This is crazy. So excuse me, this might be a stupid question.
There are none.
No,
that's not true. There are, but.
But have you flown these? That was definitely a stupid question. Oh my God. We have not even discussed this. amongst each other because I wanted to save it for you guys. But just know we are just like, our minds are just blown right now with everything that we just experienced. Yep. So let's start with the first thing, the coffee shop.
Amazing. So I think that is a perfect reason to fly into this field for the coffee shop alone.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you why. There aren't a lot of people here yet, but be prepared because it's going to be busy, because once you try the food and you try the drinks and you get to meet the owner, you're going to fall in love with this place.
Strawberry lemonade was so good. Yeah, you got me a second one. I know you knew that I wanted a second one. I didn't want to admit that I wanted a second one. What's our coffee shop?
It's called Sky High Coffee, and we'll link the Instagram link in the description below.
Link the link.
Pizza panini, I was told by, that was Lindsay's favorite. So Lindsay, with her father, runs GossHawk.
It's their business.
Yeah.
I have to mention, one of the things that he said really stuck out to me. It says it's not about the money, it's about the history. And I was like, oh, that's, like, if I had that kind of plane, that's where I would bring it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay and Dave. I know it was your time off, and you guys really spent some time with us. You guys didn't need to, so thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Mike Rutledge, Fire?
Yes.
Really what we were sold at first was like, hey, come, let's go to the building. They have a simulator for these planes. And it's the owner that's kind of showing us all this. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I couldn't. Like, we learn more and more. You guys need to look him up. In a nutshell, first of all, has his own business. He was a Navy SEAL. What's your squadron?
It's the 160th SOAR.
He was in the Night Stalkers. He literally flew presidents, dignitaries, but we have to think of the person who made all this happen. Terry, we have to say thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
But wait, before we finish that, what did we get?
Had patches.
Challenge. We got shirts. We got hats.
Honestly, we were so spoiled on this one. Thank you to everyone we came across. This airport, I have a new fondness for.
Oh yeah, we love this airport. I can't believe we almost missed this one.
I know.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next week. See you guys. This was supposed to be a quick 30 minutes, get some food, and get out. 5 hours later, we couldn't believe what we just experienced. Waking up this morning, our thought was, let's go film Casa Grande, an airport we missed on our first visit, so we had to rectify that. We'll see the terminal, eat something, and then be on our way home, probably in time to have a late lunch. Then, I ended up having one of the best burritos I've ever had, got to see a hangar with so much history by a family doing what they can to preserve it, and meeting a business owner with a past filled with so many accolades hidden behind his humility that you quickly understand why part of his philosophy is to take care of his team. Which, in a time where employees are not much more than a commodity, it's pretty inspiring to see that. All this was possible because one person saw us and was insistent to show us around. Not that he really had to do much to twist our arm. Again, a reminder, aviation is pretty amazing.
Casa Grande, running 402, going missed on runway 5, Casa Grande. For traffic, running 402. Hey, 5 minutes from the stack, taking 45. 5 is available. Stanfield. And running 402 is top. Casa Grande traffic, running 408. We are 4 miles straight in for runway 5. That's runway 5. Casa.
And speaking of amazing, let's talk about our members who keep us going each and every week. We can't thank you enough for being our supporters, our cheerleaders, and we never forget the responsibility that comes with. And we don't take it lightly, so thank you. And for those wondering what's going on over at Patreon, well, we recently started a new series speaking candidly about our experiences at some of these airports, essentially the good, the bad, the ugly, stuff that didn't make it to YouTube. We also have live streams monthly and of course early access to our weekly videos, which again you can try for 7 days free to see what we have going on.
Casa Grande traffic, runway 408, 2 miles straight in, ILS, runway 5. Touch and go. Casa.
I know you hear it at the end of every one of our videos. Go fly, go discover. But this is exactly why we say it. Sometimes we fly to places and end up discovering far more than we ever expected. And at the very least, we hope it shows you something that you didn't know about some of these airports. Every time we head to these untowered airports, we tell ourselves the same thing. We'll go in real quick, film, and head out. Yeah, that real quick part almost never happens. Today was no exception, but honestly, it's the best kind of change of plans, and you'll hear Irene's sentiments on this airport during our departure. Well, that does it for Phoenix. And if we haven't said it already, let me say it now. We loved it here, and this place truly has a piece of our hearts. Thank you to all the controllers who kept us safe, to the aviators we shared skies with, and to the friends who made our visit so special. We'll be counting the days until we return and get to see you all again. And to everyone who joined us for this series, thank you for flying along with us. Oh, and for those who live in the area, just know Irene is very jealous of you, and she's especially going to miss the sound of the F-35s. But it won't be long until we return. So that's a wrap for Casa Grande, but don't worry, we have another series in the works. And of course, there's still many airports to go visit. So we'll see you next week, but until then, go fly, go discover.
5,500 is open for you, 2833.
Tampa traffic 2341, going to be taking 5,500, about 7 minutes rear top, stand field.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, taking runway 5, left downwind departure, Casa Grande.
Have to jump in there.
I know. So much so, I forgot to say the tail number, full tail number.
Anyone taking approach altitude?
Stanfield traffic, running 402, at 45, I'll take approach altitude, 45 is available. Stanfield.
Seven traffic 2833, we'll be taking 45, 5,000 feet is open, Stanfield.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 193 Hotel, turning left crosswind, runway 5. Casa.
Casa Grande traffic, running 528, 4 miles final on the ILS, runway 5, planning to circle back to runway 5. Casa.
Grande Municipal 404, Casa Grande Municipal 4, radio check.
Casa Grande traffic, Aero 193 Hotel, turning left downwind, 05, Casa.
Casa traffic, running 528, 2 mile final, runway 5, circle to land, runway 5. Casa. I'm gonna miss that airport.
Stanfield traffic, Brownie 402. Proceed to turn inbound, Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, 131 uniform is vacating 75, doing hold, departing to the north south.
Casa traffic running 528, left base, runway 5, Casa.
Stanfield traffic, running 402, inbound VOR, approach altitude, open, Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, 3833, we'll be taking approach altitude 4,500, Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, 3341, going to be taking 4,500, 5,000 open, Stanfield.
Stanfield traffic, running 486, taking 5,000, we're top 5 open, Stanfield.
Casa Grande traffic, or correction, Stanfield traffic, 3832, proceed to turn inbound.
Yeah, incoming city, this is Brownie 402. We're going to circle 5 for 5, so if you guys want to catch up to us, we can extend our downwind, or if you guys want to slow down, we'll figure it out too.
Casa Grande, Brownie 402, 4 miles for the option of runway 5, Casa Grande.
Casa Grande traffic, Brownie 528, upwind, or runway 5, heading back to the stack, or top stack. Top 5,000, 55 open, Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, Brownie 528, taking 5,500, 6,000 open, we're new top stack.
Did that call for decircling for runway 5? Was that for 2833?
Yeah, that was for 2833. This is Brownie 402. We're on final for runway 5.
I'd add, you should be no factor because we're going to plan to go miss. We'll just keep you guys in mind.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Approach altitude open.
And approach altitudes are open.
Stanfield traffic, C341, taking approach altitude, PT inbound, 4,500 is open, Stanfield.
Stanfield traffic, Brownie 486, taking 4,500, 5,000 open, Stanfield. Stanfield traffic, Brownie 528, taking 5,055 open, we're top stack.